Once upon a time, you made your decision about going on vacation based upon amenities and attractions and things like that. Well, nowadays we're seeing a greater emphasis towards sustainability and making choices in vacation destinations based upon how sustainable the destinations are. Here in Orangeville, Ontario, there's Hockley Valley Resort. A resort's been around for many years, but in the last generation or so has made a gradual progressive step towards being a fully sustainable resort, and it's drawing more and more attention. So we're up here to learn about Hockley Valley Resort, learn about their history, but also find out why sustainability has mattered so much to them. So with Julia Cass, Vice President, Hockley Valley, it's a family resort, but it's, you're part of the family. Tell me a little about the story about how your family became part of the ownership of Hockley Valley.
So in 1985, my parents had a vision to turn what was then a broken down bank facility into a world-leading resort, and that was many years ago. So through many years of hard work, this is where we are today.
So your parents got it started from a 28-room resort to what it is today, but the last time I was here was about a dozen years ago, and it certainly is a much different place today. And obviously sustainability is a big part of it, eco-friendly and sort of ecotourism. Now, how did that become part of the business model?
So the first few years, you're building a business, you're in survival mode, I would say. Built a successful business, and then when the next generation came more actively involved, my brother, myself, my brother first, there was a vision to be more environmentally conscious, to have more sustainable practices in place, and really our passion, starting with food, being in touch from where does it come from, knowing the farmers, having a consciousness around that, to not necessarily using paper napkins, just small changes like that that have big environmental impacts.
And this isn't greenwashing here. I mean, your background is in health, and your brother is in food. You're foodies, so I mean, this isn't just because it kind of makes a profitable sense. This really just makes sense to you.
It makes sense to our morals, and truly it is in the beginning actually more of an investment to do it, to plant a garden where we're using 85% of that through the seasons to serve in our restaurants, even our weddings. That is a commitment. We have full-time gardeners who do that. In many ways, yeah, it's cheaper to just go and order through the general food chain, but we have a commitment to that. We have a commitment to quality and a commitment to consciousness, quite frankly.
So some of the ideas here we're talking about that are really sort of pushing sustainability to different levels. Again, you talked about your garden, which your herb and vegetable garden, and you say you're growing a lot of it yourself that comes to food to plate, about 70 to 80% of produce, is it?
Yep.
Now, what else are you talking about? I understand actually the building, there's a geothermal heating, I believe, and there's even practices. I even saw, you've got special parking. Talk about the specialized parking. Who's that for?
I really appreciate that as a hybrid owner, that when you go to places like Whole Foods, they recognize that. It's that encouragement to say, you drive a hybrid car, you get privileged parking.
Idle free, and you're in the valet area. That's fantastic. Now, there's a lot of these practices, and there's a bit of a labor cost. It's maybe not the most profitable in the beginning, but why I think should you do this? And I know the resort industry is competitive, but why should others do this too? I mean, does this go beyond just being a good place to come and spend the night, or is there a real life lesson in this?
I like to think it goes beyond just going for a great place to come. I think when you are in a position where you can influence positive change, why wouldn't you do it? And I think we're getting to a point where we have to do it. It's not even becoming a choice anymore. That's my passion, that's my belief. I think the positive effects it has on our environment, on people's lives and lifestyles, far outweighs maybe the initial expenditure that you need to spend in order to get there.
It's one thing to say it's organic food, but you've got to you know, if you're curing the meats on house, what about where the meat comes from, the farmers themselves? I guess you've got to agree to work with people that have the same values. Is that right?
Yeah, there's something to be said about sourcing naturally raised and local. First, you're supporting your local farmers, which is becoming harder these days to be a farmer and to even economically be sound. So to be able to support our farming practices here in Ontario, I think is huge. But then also the consciousness. I mean, we were talking about you being a dad, that's what inspires you.
Right.
I'm a mom, that inspires me
exactly.
too. Is putting good fuel into your body so that you can live healthy, just like we want the environment to live.
And the beautiful part about all of this is even though it's sustainable and local and food that you might think is unappealing, we just had this dropped with us. I mean, like, I don't know, that kind of looks good to me, don't you think?
It's delicious.
Yeah, well, we're going to cut because I'm going to dig into this, but Julie, thank you so much.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Thank you. Spending the day here at Hockley Valley Resort in Orangeville, Ontario, we've been able to discover how to really be a sustainable resort, to really be a leader and sort of on the leading edge of this trend towards eco-friendly and sustainable tourism. It has to come from within. It has to be not driven by profit, but driven by purpose and by passion. I think that's what we're seeing here with the ownership group, and if my experience here has led me to believe anything, that this is a place where if I'm a family looking for an eco-friendly, sustainable destination to go to, or a corporate event, this would be the type of destination I would surely consider. From Hockley Valley Resort near Orangeville, Ontario, I'm Novak, and I'll see you again soon.